If you heard the new Drake album, For All the Dogs, you heard that jazz and gospel influence. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of those techniques from gospel and jazz that we can use in our music production. So the first thing is sound selection. We're going to use a felt piano. Okay, so let's play that chord out. So it's really simple to do this. That's why I'm starting here. We're going to play a D minor 7th chord. Now there's no rhyme or reason. You don't have to use this chord. I'm just demonstrating on this chord. So what we're doing is playing the melodic note as if it's part of the chord. Playing part of the chord as if it's the melodic note. So let's go. Okay, and then we're going to extend the chord. So all we're really doing is making this a D minor 9th chord. For those who understand, we're going from a 7th to a 9th. In short, you know, starting at all the white notes in the scale, if we're mapping out C major, for example, it's all the white notes starting from C. So basically the way you come up with chords is you skip every other note within the scale. Okay, that's the short way to go about scale degrees. So we're starting at D in this case for the second of the scale degree. Skipping E, go to F, skip G, go to A, skip B, go to C, skip D, go to E. So that's how we're building out this chord voicing, okay, using what are called chord extensions. I'll teach you all this stuff in our new Music Theory Magic course. I'm actually coming out with a new course called Music Theory Magic, where it goes way deeper than just music theory, but also the magical side of it as well. And that's coming out soon. So if you want to get news about that, go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory, okay, to sign up. Okay, so okay, now this is guiding us down. Okay, so these are very important. We're going from the tonic to the 9th, and then we're going back to the tonic, but this time up top. Okay, so now we're working in reverse. So now the tonic is being used again, but now we're going to work in reverse and build this chord out backwards, which makes this an E minor chord. Now, if you wanted to extend it, you can make it C major 9th. I think the C kind of makes it too lush. And then you could repeat that tone and then drop it right back down, because these play off of each other, because again, we're really playing a chord extension here. And then over here, we're just using this tonic to lead right back. Now, if you wanted to take this to a different level, what you could do is use a deceptive ending. So here's where we get into jazz. Okay, so here, instead of using our, what is this? Let's do 1, 2, 3. We went to E minor. Instead of using the minor version of E, this would be more of a Tyler, the Creator type style. You would take your 3rd and your 7th, make this a major chord. Okay, so you're ending on a different chord type. Now, you don't have to use that chord. Let's make it E just. Okay, so you're ending on a different emotion there, rather than this introspective. So these are basic rules, not rules, but basic techniques. Okay, and that way you can end on a different vibe. So now let's get into more advanced stuff. So that was like, you know, a technique from Drake's approach that you could use. Let's use different voicing styles. Okay, so voicing is the way you take this basic triad into making it sound like it's a different type of chord. So let's make this a 9th chord and take these 2 notes. Now I'm going to swap out the piano only because certain sounds are associated with different genres. So this next keyboard is associated with more R&B and gospel. Okay, so that's why I'm using it. You got to play it at a soft velocity so you don't get too many harmonics. Okay, but we have to turn the volume up. Okay, so now I'm taking these notes, in this case, the 5th and the 7th, pulling them down. And now you can take that top note, the melodic note, and just transpose your chords. In this case, this chord, there's no rules for this, because in house music, you could take this and not even like worry about if it's a minor or major chord. But for this specific sound, I'm going to make this a major chord, taking that 3rd, 7th, pulling it up 1. And now it feels a little more in the pocket because we're now using this R&B type sound. I also like to change the key. Okay, so you get that type of sound. Another chord type I want to introduce you to is a suspended chord type. So whenever you have a major chord type, for example, I think this is our major, right? Yeah, so we're going to take this, copy it over. I'm going to keep the original voicing so you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to take this note here and then make it the second, the major second. And it adds a nice tension to the sound. So if I were to write in C major, for example, the voicing to make this like really, really simple would be C, D, and then you would have your G. So we're not playing the third. Okay, I'm just transposing it down one key. But that's the type of chord sound you get using that suspended. So it doesn't sound as tense as a normal suspended second chord because we have that seventh playing the major triad up top. So it sounds a little more lush to me. And also, if we were to flip this, keep in mind the ninth, or excuse me, the major sixth chord, for example. I know I'm getting into like the woods right now. But if I were to take out this note D and we were to make this a major sixth chord, these notes are pretty close together. So that's why it doesn't sound disharmonious or dissonant when we're using the suspended second. So you can try all these chord types out. There's no right or wrong way. I'm just showing you different things. Another thing we could do, and this is the last thing I'll show you today, is use what's called a secondary dominant. So it depends on the chord you're about to land on. Because I changed the voicing of all this, it's all over the place. So this is the B major chord. Okay, so we have to ask which chord are we landing on? I guess to make this simple, let's go back to C major. Okay, so this is C major. We started off on D minor, C major, D minor, C major, okay? And that was the suspended second of the major seventh. You don't need to memorize all these names. Again, I'll teach you all this stuff in the Music Theory Magic. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory. I'll leave a link below. But what we need to do is figure out if we're gonna land at C. Now C is the key, so let's just leave that out. But if we're gonna land at D, for example, what's the fifth of D? A. So now we're gonna use a dominant chord at A. In this case, let's use a dominant ninth. I like dominant ninths a little bit more because they just sound cooler. And it will land at D. Let's pull it down in voicing, however, in octave. Okay, so this is a dun, dun. So now we need to revoice this to where it sounds more fitting. Now, the reason it has tension is this diminished chord right here. So what I'll do is I'll revoice this by getting rid of that top note D so that everything's linear. And it takes away that jump and interval at the top. Now, also with these chords, there's so much you could do with these chords, like tritone substitution, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could either raise it up or down 6 semitones. Now in this case, because it goes up so high, I would introduce a note that's up like that high. So in this case, G. Okay, so if you wanted to do that, you could tritone substitution, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But instead of that, what we're gonna do is use the fifth and the ninth and transpose these. I like raising them up. And that's that R&B chord that you know, but you just didn't know. It's the special R&B chord, taken from jazz, of course. And normally the way I would do this is instead of landing on D, I would make sure that these two notes are the same. And kind of make the ear listen to that top note. Okay, so we went over a lot. So we went over D minor ninth into C major. What is this? The ninth. Okay. Into A ninth, A dominant ninth, into our suspended chord at the end, which is actually C, I just realized. So I thought we were moving into the note D, so we need to move back into D minor. So dang, glad I caught that, wasn't paying attention. So I'm gonna revoice this. So you can see it works for a lot of chords. I like the way it sounded, but if you wanted to go from the A back into D, I'm just gonna revoice this. I don't like this E sitting so close to F. So one thing you can do with seventh chords and ninth chords is take out the third if you have a seventh chord. Okay, and that's more resolving sounding, but it did sound cool with the C major or the C suspended major. So either one. I know we're getting a little geeky, but you guys wanted to learn the actual science. This is what makes you make good melodies. You have to understand harmony. Harmony is the foundation of melody. Okay, so let's humanize it just a little bit. Now I would use a function here, but it could override notes, and I don't feel like doing all that. Okay, so I'm playing the notes out so you could actually hear them note by note. It's not how I would produce it, but just so you can hear it spread out. And then we're going to switch out the piano type just to show you what this would sound like with different sound selections. So let's move back to our grand piano. Most people are used to a jazz piano when it comes to stuff like this. I'm going to revert back our MIDI. There we go. I'm going to change out the tuning here to it's already at 432. So let's switch it back to 440 so you can hear it in its regular tuning. I like this ending, but you could also end it on D. Okay, so you're gonna see a lot of this production stuff in these top albums, whether it's Drake, Tyler, the Creator, anybody who's modern and kind of moving into that R&B lane and introducing these concepts, you're gonna see these techniques. So if you wanna learn more, go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory. Get on that list now, because when I come out with Music Theory Magic, it's gonna transform the way you look at music. Thank you for watching. It's Game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace.